Welcome, everybody. It is time for Wahoo basketball. It's tournament time as the NCC tournament round one begins. We have Nebraska City coming to pay a visit on this brisk Monday. Had a 2-hour late start. If you look at what we're looking at right now, we're seeing a different gymnasium. We're seeing the old high school gymnasium, now the middle school gym, because of HVAC issues caused some issues there. So let's go ahead and turn our sights over to what's happening here. And tonight's contest, just to let you know, is sponsored by all of the sponsors, part of the Wahoo Booster Club. But we have tonight's game sponsors include JEO, Wahoo State Bank, First Bank of Nebraska, Saunders Medical Center, and Wahoops. Let's go ahead and turn it over and listen to the national anthem. We'll also go ahead and turn it over and let them introduce the starting lineup for us tonight.
Now the starting lineups. First for the Pioneers. Number 2, a senior, Mitchell Hodges. Number 4, a senior, Landon Ferguson. Number 5, a senior, Tyrese Gardner. Number 11, a senior, Jalen Walker. And number 35, Edgar Lewis. Head coach, Matt Myers. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your Wahoo Warriors. Number 0, 6'4" sophomore, Landon Block. Number 2, 5'11", senior, Tim Brigham. Number 4, 5'10", senior, James Kaminsky. Number 5, 6'5", senior, Tony Hesser. Number 14, 16 freshman, Joey Kelly. Head coach, TJ O'Connor. Ladies and gentlemen, let's play basketball.
All right, there we go. The starting lineup is out, and we are getting ready. Not a lot of people coming out today. Nebraska City, an hour and a half away. So thank you to having technology where you can all join us right here for tournament basketball. Round one is about to tip off, and won by the Warriors goes into the hands of Kip Brigham. Top of the key, goes to the near side. Glock. Then down into the near corner. Cody Hesser drives into the lane, puts it up, and bumps it back out to be picked up by Jace Kaminsky. Jace sends it in underneath to Hesser, then out to Glock. Glock takes a three, misses, but picked up by Kaminsky. Kaminsky gets it in underside, and then going in to put it up is Cody Hesser, and he draws the foul. So that's the very first team foul for the Pioneers. And that is going against Mitchell Hodges, the senior. Cody Hesser's first attempt is good. First point on the board, 7:32 left of the first period. Hesser with a couple of dribbles, and the second attempt is up, and that one is a little long, bounced back out, pulled in by Edgar Ruiz. Pass forward gets taken away by Kip Brigham, back for the Warriors. Kaminsky to the Kelly at the top of the key to Glock on the right wing. Back out to the top of the key for Kaminsky, takes the three, and that one's a little too hard, but Kelly with the rebound. Tries to send it out to Brigham. Just a little off the mark on the pass, goes out of bounds. Turnover to the Pioneers. Stepping out, Mitchell Hodges to inbound for the Pioneers. Gets it in to Landon Ferguson. Back to Hodges. Ferguson now with the ball. Tries to pass it, but tipped out of bounds by Cody Hesser for the Warriors. Pioneers on the near side with the inbound. Ferguson gets it in, but taken away by Hesser. Gets it over to Kelly. Kelly drives in the lane, puts it up. The jumper is good for two. 3-0, 6:55 left of the first period. Inbound, gets forward, and back into the hands of Hesser. Heads up for the Warriors as they go in. Gets in the hands of Brigham. He does a turnaround layup and in for a 5-0 lead. Pioneers do get it across the timeline now in Ruiz's hands. Passes it back to Ferguson. Ferguson on the left wing. Looks for the screen, but passes it across to Caleb Walker at the top of the key. He takes the three. That one's off the mark, and rebound by Hesser for the Warriors. Sends it forward to Kaminsky. Kaminsky to Kelly underneath and back over. Tries to make the pass, but it's taken away by Caleb Walker for the Pioneers. Everybody retreats. Not a full court press at this point for the Warriors. Sends it to the near corner. Landon Ferguson gets it underneath. Back out to the top for Walker. Walker sends it back over to Hodges. He takes a three, and it bounces around. Hits the support system, so considered out of bounds. Turnover to the Warriors. Warriors inbound. Kip Brigham sends it to Jace Kaminsky. Kaminsky to Glock on the left wing. Glock takes a dribble, looking for assistance, gets it to Kelly at the top of the key. Bounce pass underneath, tries to get it to Kaminsky. He is able to retrieve it. Back out to Kelly on the right wing. He drives in the lane, sends it all the way over to Glock. Now to Hesser. Hesser back to Glock on the left wing. Glock puts it up for the jumper and is able to get it to drop in for two. 7-0, 5:25 left of the first period. Bounce pass forward for the Pioneers, gets it all the way across to the near side for Hodges. Hodges mistimed his pass, and they have a back and forth court violation. Turnover back over to the Warriors. Trying to anticipate a little bit too much and not able to get that one taken care of. Now the Warriors, Kip Brigham passes it in to Kaminsky. Kaminsky sends it over to Hesser on the right wing. Hesser to Kelly at the top, cross all the way to Kaminsky on the left wing. Now Glock at the top of the key with a three, and that is drained right there. First three-pointer of the game. 5 minutes left of the first period. Pioneers inbound, get it over to Ferguson. Ferguson sends it back to Walker on the right wing. Now it comes all the way across to Ruiz. Ruiz gets it back over to Walker. Walker drives in the lane, puts it up. The jumper is good for two. The first 2 points for the Pioneers. But nice pass forward to Kelly as they go for the long pass and breakaway. He goes up and gets tagged on the way up. Doesn't make the basket, but does draw the foul and is able to go to the foul line for 2 attempts. And that's the first personal foul for Tyrese Gardner. Second team foul. 11-2. Warriors with a lead, 4:32 left of the first period. Second attempt is up, and that is good. 12-2. Hodges inbounds, receives it back after Ferguson sends it back to him. Bounce pass underneath to Ruiz. Ruiz back over to Ferguson. Ferguson calling the play from the top of the key. Goes over to the right wing. Sends it back out to the top to Walker. Walker sends it across to Hodges. Hodges underneath to Ruiz. Ruiz sends it all the way out to Walker. He drives in the lane, but the bounce pass underneath goes to Gardner. Tries to put it up. Rebound by Glock for the Warriors. He sends it forward to Hesser. Hesser drives it over to Brigham, but Brigham loses it to the Pioneers as Gardner takes it away, sends it forward to Walker. Then it's taken away by Hancock for the Warriors. Pass going forward gets knocked out of bounds, and that is a Pioneer ball. Ruiz inbounds for the Pioneers to Ferguson. Back to Ruiz. Ruiz to Ferguson on the right side of the court. Back to Ruiz. Ruiz gets across the timeline. Bounce pass underneath to Hodges. He's able to put it up and in for two. Forward to Brigham. Brigham gets it to Hancock. Hancock to Kaminsky. Kaminsky to Glock. Glock takes the three, and it rims out. Pulled back in by Gardner for the Pioneers. Pioneers get it over to Ferguson, then sends it all the way in. Back to the top of the key, Gardner, back over to Ruiz. Ruiz gets it in underneath to Hodges. Hodges tries to send it out. The pass goes out of bounds and turnover to the Warriors. Kaminsky inbounds to Brigham for the Warriors. Brigham comes up to the right wing. Back over to Kaminsky on the left. Kaminsky looking for the screen, gets in to the free throw line, looking for help. Back over to Glock. Glock is approaching the lane on the right. He puts it up a little too hard and pulled back in by the Pioneers. That was Gardner, gets it back across, and now forwarded to Ruiz. Ruiz drops his dribble. Picked up by Brigham for the Warriors, gets it to Hesser. Hesser is able to put it up for two. 14-4. 2:28 left of the first period. Pioneers on the left side go across to the right side. Ruiz, bounce pass underneath to Gardner. Gardner puts it up for two. Kaminsky gets it forward to Brigham, back to Kaminsky. Kaminsky takes the three, and that's a little off. The rebound ended up in the hands of Gardner for the Pioneers. They send it forward to Hodges. Hodges drives in. He's not able to get it to drop in. Pulled back by Kaminsky. Kaminsky drives the lane. Bounce pass, tries to get it over to Brigham. Not able to connect, goes out of bounds. Turnover back to the Pioneers. We have 1:53 left of the first period. 14-6 Warriors with a lead. This is round one of the NCC tournament. Ladies will be playing here tomorrow night. Looking forward to a great night there. And soon, hopefully, we'll be able to be back in our main gym. Pioneers try to pass it forward. And getting a hand on it was Jonathan Pineda. And it goes out of bounds. Well, that is a timeout called. And we'll go ahead and say thank you to sponsors. Part of our broadcast and all of our broadcasts right here on bsdnlive.com, Saunders County Online, Wahoo Public Schools YouTube. We want to say thank you to the game sponsors, JEO, Wahoo State Bank, First Bank of Nebraska, Saunders Medical Center, Wahoops. Also, great part of the Wahoo Athletic Booster Club. We want to say thank you to sponsors like Union Bank and Trust, Woodsmith Builders, Simon's Home Store and Retire Path Advisors, Sid Dillon of Wahoo, Titles, Wahoo Dental Associates, Saunders County Chiropractic, Rivalry, Berkshire Hathaway Home Ambassador Services, Real Estate Tammy Bennett, Hardy Acres, Wahoo Concrete, Edward Jones, Josh Kruger, Shutt Electrical and Contracting, Tim and Seth Molly Construction. All right, well, that's coming out of the first break. The Pioneers, I believe, have the ball. Nope, actually the Warriors do. Sorry, that was tipped out of bounds. So Brigham to inbound to Kaminsky. Kaminsky gets it across the timeline, sends it to Hancock on the right side and over to Glock at the top of the key. Glock travels to the left wing, bounce pass underneath to Hancock. Ends up getting knocked out of bounds, and that was off the hands of Ruiz. I'm sorry, that's Edwin Sandoval now in the game for the Pioneers. Hesser receives, but he gets the ball knocked away. Walker for the Pioneers waits for the numbers to match up. Gets all the way across. And Pineda takes the three and drains it. 14-9 Pioneers. A little spark of life right there. Kaminsky on the right wing. Sends it to Hancock. Hancock back out to Kaminsky, now at the top of the key. Kaminsky dribbles into the lane, and as he tries to go in, he gets a hand of the Pioneers that hits him, so that is a penalty, and that is going to go against Caleb Walker, his first personal, and the team's third of the first period. Minute 2 left. Inbound to Glock, instantly takes the 3 and drains that one. So Landon Glock taking his threes. Bounce pass forward, gets over to Pinata. Taken away by Kaminsky, nothing called. Bounce pass over to Kelly, he lays it up and in for 2. 19-9, 42 seconds. Inbound, gets a kicking violation by Hesser, so the Pioneers with another inbound attempt. Hesser coming out, Brigham coming in. Let's see who else we have. We have Kelly in, we have Kaminsky, Hancock, and Glock for the Warriors. Inbound gets over to Ruiz. Ruiz sends it back over to Walker, back to Ruiz. Ruiz looking for help. Back out to Gardner. Loses control, and Kelly picks it up for the Warriors. Gets it over to Brigham. Brigham sends it to Kaminsky. He drives the lane, puts up the jumper, and not able to get it to drop in. Pioneers send it back out. And Ferguson sends it all the way across. Now to Ruiz. Ruiz hands it off to Walker, takes the 3, and is able to drain that one. 19-12, 7 seconds left. Kaminsky with the ball, 3 seconds. Hands off to Brigham. Brigham tries to go in, and he draws the foul with 0.3 seconds left. So that's the 4th team foul. And really with what's on the clock, all they can do is put it in and up. Does not go in. So that was a nice pass in. But at the end of 1, Warriors 19, Pioneers 12. Anything you have to say about what you're seeing there? I know I don't give you much time to talk.
No, nothing.
Kind of quiet. Introduce yourself. Our cameraman today is.
I'm Cole Westerland. I'm
so Cole,
doing the cameras today.
So you've been kind of running the cameras a little bit for us here, and you're a junior, right?
Yeah, I'm a junior here.
So part of the program, you are a baseball player, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you looking for? Have you been a part of Wahoo your entire school career?
No, I transferred from Elkhorn.
Elkhorn, when did you transfer in?
Last year.
Okay. So is this going to be your first year playing with?
No, it'll be my second for
second
Wahoo.
year.
Yeah.
Okay. So what are you guys looking forward to? Because you're already practicing.
We're hoping we're gonna have a better year than last year. Last year we didn't really make up to our expectations, but.
All right. So something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Something to look forward to.
We're returning a lot of seniors, so we should have a pretty good team this year.
Yeah, a lot of experience, and combined with Bishop Newman.
Yeah.
All right, so we're coming into the second 8 minutes of the game. Pioneers with the inbound. They get it in to Ferguson. Gets across the timeline. He gets it in underneath to Gardner. Gardner dribbles to the three-point line, sends it across to the left wing. Hodges drives in, puts the jumper up, but not able to get it put in. Brigham for the Warriors with the rebound. Drives across. Hesser now with it. Drives in the lane, puts it up, and is able to drop it in. Full court press still in play by the Warriors. Hesser almost got a touch on the ball. Ruiz sends it forward and ends up going off the hands of Gardner, out of bounds, turnover to the Warriors. Warriors definitely putting a lot of pressure on the Pioneers. Brigham inbounds to Kaminsky. Kaminsky back to Brigham. Brigham moves to the top of the key. Cross to the block on the right wing. Now Kelly has it. Back to Kaminsky. Kaminsky looking to set up the play. Brigham now dribbles to the top, sends it all the way across to Glock. Glock looks at the 3, but sent back out to Hesser. Hesser setting up the screen. Back to Kaminsky. Kaminsky underneath, puts that up. The layup is good for 2. 23-12. 6:54 left in the half. Pioneers working hard to get it across and barely get it across in time. So Hodges drives in, puts the jumper up. And we see a penalty. Foul pulled against the Warriors. And so that is the first team foul. First personal foul for Hesser. Pioneers with the inbound, gets it in underneath. Turnaround jumper, not able to do anything with it. Kaminsky had his hand right on it, sends it to Brigham. Brigham drives in. Good layup from the breakaway. 6:28, 25-12. Pioneers inbound, get it over to Gardner. Gardner gets it across to Ferguson. Ferguson sends it to the left wing. Walker to the top of the key for Hodges. Hodges takes the three, and that one's a little short. Comes back in. Kaminsky takes on. He forwards it to Kelly, all the way across to Glock on the near side. Kaminsky now all the way over to Hesser. Takes the three. It's a little off the mark. Rebound by the Pioneers. Gardner passes it over Ferguson. Ferguson going down the left side of the court. Back to Ferguson. Now Ruiz. Ruiz pass is knocked out of bounds by Cody Hesser. Stays with the Pioneers.
Pioneers, number 25, Evan Sandoval.
Inbound, gets in underneath to Ruiz. Ruiz passes it back out to Pineda. Losing control of the ball, it just rolls right over to Kaminsky, who hands it to Brigham. Has the easy layup and in for two. 27-12. Ferguson gets it across the timeline for the Pioneers. He sends it forward, but the pass is taken away by Hesser. Now Brigham, or Kaminsky has it. Underneath to Hesser in the lane. He puts it up, but draws the foul. It's not able to get it to drop in, so he goes to the foul line for two. That is the third personal foul for Therese Gardner for the Pioneers, their first team foul for the second period. First attempt is up and good. For the Pioneers, Caleb Walker comes in. He's replacing Therese Gardner. Therese Gardner getting some foul trouble going on as he has three early on in the game. Hesser's second attempt, and that one's good as well. 29-12. Pioneers with the ball. Walker on the far side tries to send it across. Is able to get it in the hands of Pineda. Now forward to the left wing, Hodges. Turn around over to Walker. Hodges drives in. It's off the mark, and the rebound ends up in the hands of the Warriors. Cody Hesser picked it up, saved the steal. Kaminsky tried to pass it in, tipped, and then the Pioneers ended up in the hands of Caleb Walker. He tried to forward it to Landon Ferguson, but sent it out of bounds. Turnover back to the Warriors. Nice breakaway for the Pioneers, just not able to do anything with it. Kaminsky now with the ball at the top of the key. Sends it to Brigham on the left wing. Brigham drives across. Kaminsky on the right wing. Underneath to Kelly. The pass through his hands and out of bounds. Turnover to the Pioneers. Walker inbounds, gets it over to Hodges. Hodges back to Walker. Walker to Hodges. Sends it forward, and the ball gets into Glock's hands. And then goes out of bounds, and they call it as a turnover. So Cash Hoy comes in, replacing Mitchell Hodges for the Pioneers. Kaminsky inbounds. Gets it across to Glock. Glock drives to the left. Goes into the lane, pulls back, the jumper's up, and good. 31-12, 3:46 left in the first half. Pioneers, Caleb Walker looking to pass, and not sure There was not a Pioneer where he was passing to, so it goes out of bounds, turnover to the Warriors. Let's go ahead and again say thank you during this timeout. It's a full timeout. Say thank you to all the sponsors, part of the activities, athletic departments, and booster club. They all are doing what they can to be able to enhance life for the athletes, the students, and the school. JEO, Wahoo State Bank, First Bank of Nebraska, Saunders Medical Center, and Wahoops. They're tonight's game sponsors. In fact, they'll be the tournament sponsors for all the tournament games. Continue, we also want to say thank you to sponsors like Union Bank and Trust, Woodsmith Builders, Simon's Home Store, Retire Path Advisors. Say go to Wahoo. Sorry about that. Titles, Wahoo Dental Associates, Saunders County Chiropractic. We'll continue to talk about all the sponsors as we continue on. Warriors with the inbound. Handed off to Kaminsky. Kaminsky drives the lane, sends it across to Hesser. Hesser in the lane, puts it up. In for two. 33-12. 3:27 left in the first half. Ferguson passes across to Hoy. Hoy back to Ferguson. Ferguson sends it all the way to the right for Walker. Walker puts it up at the free throw line. It rims back out. Picked up by Glock for the Warriors. Sends it forward to Brigham. Glock with the save, but it ends up in the hand of Ferguson for the Pioneers. 33-12. 2:53 left of the half. Passes it out to Pineda. Now that pass comes out, and we have a back. So we have a back to forward court violation, and so turnover back to the Warriors. They're moving Kelly forward to do the inbound. Sends it to Brigham on the backside of the court. Gets across the timeline. Kelly on the right wing. Hesser on the left. Block takes the three from the left corner and drains it. Inbound comes in. Tipped away by Kelly. Gets it over to Brigham's hands. He does the layup and able to drop it in. 38-12. 2:18 left. First half. Ferguson sends it forward, gets it in the hands of Pineda. Pineda's over to Ruiz. Ruiz drives the lane, puts it up. The jumper is good for the Pioneers. 38-14, 2-minute mark. Hancock over to Brigham. Brigham at the top of the key, sends it across to Kelly, takes the three. That's a little hard and bounces out. Rebound by Ferguson for the Pioneers. Sending it forward, picked up by Walker. Walker sends it across to Hoy. Hoy takes the three, a little off the mark. Rebound by Glock for the Warriors. Glock pulls it back, hands off to Hesser. He has the jumper, and that one rolls in, out, but Kelly with the rebound and drops it in, draws the foul. So that is... Okay, there is no foul on that one. I heard the whistle. Did you hear the whistle on that one?
Yeah, I did.
All right, so Kelly comes out. Going in for Kelly is Gigstad. Quincy Gigstad now in the game. Nebraska City inbounds to Hoy. Now back to Ferguson. Ferguson gets across the timeline in time. Hoy on the right wing, gets the screen, drives in the lane, tries to send it across, but not without stepping out of bounds, and to turn over to the Warriors. 40-14. So Hancock inbounds to Brigham. So we have Hancock, Block, Brigham, Hesser now with the ball. He looked at the three. And Gigstad in for the Warriors. Block on the right corner underneath to Gigstad. Gigstad back out to Block. He takes the three. That's off the mark. And it goes out of bounds off of, I believe that must have bounced off of Hancock's hands. Turnover to the Pioneers. Pioneers inbound to Hodges. Hodges sends it to Ruiz. Actually, that's Sandoval. Sandoval back out to Hodges. Hodges' pass gets taken away by Glock. 35 seconds. Now to Hancock. Hancock to Brigham. Brigham driving in the lane, turn around, looking to send it back out to Glock. Glock takes the three and drains that one too. 43-14. 16 seconds left of the half. Ferguson with the ball. Calling the play. Chances are it's going to be the last shot of the first half. Back over to Ferguson. Ferguson sends it back out. Gets it to Ruiz. He takes the three. And rebound is in the hands of Glock. And that is the first half. Warriors 43. Pioneers 14. We're going to go ahead and take a break and come back with more basketball right here on bsdnlive.com, Saunders County on Live YouTube, Wahoo Public Schools YouTube. Welcome back as we are about ready to start the second half. NCC tournament round 1. So we are here facing off against Nebraska City as the Warriors in Nebraska City. I want to say thank you to the game sponsors. Part of our program tonight, JEO, Wahoo State Bank, First Bank of Nebraska, Saunders Medical Center, and Wahoops. Let's also thank all of the sponsors that are part of the Wahoo Athletic Booster Club, supporting the students, the athletes, the school. Union Bank and Trust, Woodsmith Builders, Simon's Home Store and Retire Path Advisors, Sid Dillon of Wahoo, Titles, Wahoo Dental Associates, Saunders County Chiropractic and Acupuncture, Rivalry, we're your biggest fans. Yep, there you go, sorry about that. Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Ambassador Real Estate, Tammy Bennett, Hardy Acres, Wahoo Concrete, Edward Jones, Josh Kruger, Shutt Electrical and Contracting, and Tim and Seth Molly Construction. Well, so we're about ready to start the second half. The Warriors with a commanding lead, a 29-point lead, 43-14 over the Pioneers. Now coming up tomorrow night, the ladies will be playing, and then we're waiting for the determination of who the Warriors will be hosting here, again, whether it's in this gym or the other gym that'll be happening on Thursday as well. So it is a week of tournament basketball all right here in Wahoo. So the Pioneers, I believe, will be inbounding. Nope, the Warriors will be inbounding. So we have Brigham stepping out to inbound for the Warriors. Gets it to Kaminsky. And the second half has begun. Kaminsky moves to the right lane, hands off to Hesser. Hesser drives to the top of the key, sends it across to Glock, takes the three in the left corner. That one rims out, picked up by Ruiz for the Pioneers. Gets it over to Walker. Walker moves to the right corner. Drives back out, gets it over to Ferguson. Ferguson bounce pass underneath to Gardner. Back out to Ferguson, who takes the three. It's a little long. And Ruiz tries to rebound, but as he grabs it, he steps out of bounds. Turnover to the Warriors. Inbound gets to Kaminsky. Takes it down the court. Sends it to Kelly on the left wing. Hesser driving in. Back to Kaminsky. Kaminsky on the left wing, looking for the screen. Bounce pass underneath to Hesser. Turnaround jumper, and is able to drop that one in for two. So 45-14. Hodges with the ball for the Pioneers on the left wing. Gets it across, tries to pass it to Ferguson. Ferguson lets it go by. And goes out of bounds, and they turn over to the Warriors. Kaminsky inbounds to Brigham. Brigham moves to the left wing, now to the top of the key. Hands off to Hesser. Hesser drives in, sends it to Kaminsky. Kaminsky takes a three from the right, and it bounces across. Rebound by the Pioneers. They get it forward to Ferguson on the left. Ferguson hands it off to Walker. Walker gets it to Hodges. Hodges ends up losing control of it, goes out of bounds, and turns over back over to the Warriors. 6:25 left of the third period. Clean overall game. No fouls so far in the second half. Relatively low on the fouls, except for there's one Pioneer that has 3 fouls so far already. Inbound. Battle for the inbound. It ends up going to the Pioneers as it goes out of bounds. Ferguson inbounds to Hodges. Hodges drives in, steps back at the top of the key, gets it across to Walker. Walker loses control of it, picked up by Kelly. He sends it forward to Brigham. Brigham sends it back out to Glock. Glock drives in the lane, comes across. Hesser on the left wing, takes the three, and then drains that one as well. 50-14. Walker to the free throw line, sends it over to Hodges, takes the three. Comes out Hesser with a rebound. Sends forward to Kaminsky. Kaminsky bounce pass to Brigham underneath. Layup for two. 52-14. Ferguson with a ball for the Pioneers. Sends it across to Hodges. Hodges tries to send it underneath, but it goes all the way across, out of bounds. Turnover to the Warriors. So we see Ruiz and Walker, I believe, come out. Hoy comes in for the Pioneers. Let's see who else. I believe that is actually Sandoval now in for the Pioneers. Kelly with the ball on the right wing for the Warriors. Drives in the lane, puts it up. The layup's a little too hard, comes back out. Rebound by Ferguson for the Pioneers. Ferguson sends it back out to Hoy. Hoy passes it over to Hodges. Hodges puts it up. It comes back out. Battle for the ball and whistle's blown. Sandoval is called for the penalty. The first team foul, the first personal foul, turnover to the Warriors. Kaminsky inbounds to Hancock. Hancock at the top of the key sends it to Hesser. Hesser feeds it underneath to, let's see, that is Gigstad. Back underneath. So Hancock gets it underneath. He puts the layup up and in. 54-14. Three-point shot. And so now with the they shut off, I believe, yes, they shut off the shot clock as there is a 40-point lead for the Warriors. Smallfoot in, now he gets it over to Hodges. Hodges tries to get it underneath to Gardner. Gardner comes back out, sends it out to Hodges. Hodges looking for help. Pass, tries to get a pass to Sandoval and goes out of bounds. Turnover to the Warriors. Kemmerling in for the Warriors. Ferguson back in for the Pioneers, replacing Hodges. Kemmerling inbounds to Hancock for the Warriors. Down the court. Gets it over to Gigstad. Taken away by Hancock. Gets it in the hands of Gigstad. Turnaround layup is up and good. 56-14. Ferguson now driving in. Pushes in, puts it up, draws the foul, not able to get it to drop in. So that's the first team foul for the Warriors. First personal foul for Jackson Kemmerling. 2:41 left. We have a running clock now. First attempt, a little too hard, hits the back of the rim, bounces back. So Ferguson with one more attempt. So we see several players come in for Pioneers. Ruiz as well as Kenyatta. Smallfoot. Walker. Second attempt was up and good, 56-15. Hancock, bounce pass underneath, gets it across. Tries to get it up, and Glock loses control of it. Gets in the hands of the Pioneers, Walker. Walker gets it over to Ferguson. Ferguson on the left, looking for the screen, gets it. Drives in, but has to pull back. Takes the three. That one rims out in the hands of Ruiz. Ruiz tries to pass it out to Walker, and we see Gigstad going after it, and Kelly. And with that, we have a 30-second timeout. So Cody, as you're watching this, We have a running clock, so it's going to be a pretty quick game from here, really.
Yeah, Wahoo's kind of just dominated through the game. They've been making their shots.
And it's a good time in the tournament to have some of your underclassmen and be able to get some experience as well.
Yeah, especially it's going to come big in the future for the future teams. Just getting guys in, getting them varsity. It's obviously a lot faster than JV, so it's good experience for these guys.
Well, that's one of the things we saw for football as well, that really, I would say the true varsity starters at football for Wahoo actually only saw like 2 games of actual full play.
Yeah, they didn't really have to play very many full games, as they just really dominated everybody who they played. But
so Kelly inbounds to Hancock, gets it back over to Kimmerling. Kimmerling to Kelly. Kelly gets the Gigstad, back to Kelly. He drives in, sends it across to Kimmerling, takes the 3. That one rims out. Glock tries to get it, but the pass comes in to Gigstad. Just the Pioneers try to save it and send it in. Gigstad at the right place, the right time. Gets it in for 2. Pass underneath, gets it in to Glock. Okay, so hard to explain what happened there because Glock touched it. It went through several hands. Hancock forwarded it and ended up getting into Kelly's hands, and he put it up for 2. 60 to 15, minute 10 left of the 3rd period. 3-point shot, a long one, and that one is too hard and comes out. Glock receives it for the Warriors. Hancock drives in, and as he goes to put it up, he hits the back side of the backboard. So that is considered out of bounds and turns over to the Pioneers. Again, we're in a running clock. Inbound to Hoyle. Hoyle sends it back across to Walker for the Pioneers. Pineda. Back to Walker. Walker drives in, puts it up, is able to drop that in for 2. 60-17, 21 seconds left of the 3rd period. Hancock taking it down the court for the Warriors. Now it gets across, and that is Simon. Simon and Joel Simon. Back to Kelly. Gigstad. Hancock, now Simon again on the left wing, back to Hancock. Hancock takes the 3, drains it. That is the buzzer, and that is 3 complete. 63-17, Warriors. Round 1 of the NCC tournament right here in Wahoo. Again, tonight's game sponsors are JEO, Wahoo State Bank, First Bank of Nebraska, Saunders Medical Center, and Wahoops. Want to say thank you to all the sponsors: Union Bank and Trust, Woodsmith Builders, Simon's Home Store, Retire Path Advisors, Sit Down to Wahoo, Titles, Wahoo Dental Associates, Saunders County Chiropractic and Acupuncture, Rivalry, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Ambassador Real Estate, Tammy Bennett, Hardy Acres, Wahoo Concrete, Edward Jones, Josh Kruger, Shutt Electrical and Contracting, and Tim and Seth Molly Construction. Just a couple seconds away from the 4th period. Again, 63-17, we're in a running clock, no shot clock. That means that 8 minutes really could just mean 8 minutes.
yeah, I don't see why it wouldn't be. This game's getting out of hand.
So the Pioneers, traveling on this cold day, getting a good experience at a very top-ranked team. Coming out into the 4th period, the Pioneers get to inbound. And I believe the Pioneers have their starting lineup in. Ferguson inbounds to Hodges. Hodges underneath to Walker. Walker gets it over to Hodges, and he draws the foul. And that foul is going to be called against Kimmerling. First team foul, second personal foul for Kimmerling. Pioneers now to inbound underneath their own baseline. Gets out to a nice 3-point attempt. And that was by Walker, but it comes back out. Nice pass out for the Pioneers. Underneath to Simon. Simon sends it to Hancock. He kind of takes an adjustment before he has full control of the ball, and it ends up in the Pioneers' hands. Walker with the up comes back out into the hands of Kelly, and I believe that is a penalty called against Walker. Caleb Walker. Oh, nope, that it goes against Gardner, his 4th personal foul. Inbound comes across to Simon. Simon to Gigstad. Gigstad to Kelly, back out. Hancock takes the 3 and is able to drop that in. 66-17, 6:40 left in the game. Ferguson down the court, goes to the right side, looking for help, hands it off to Walker, takes the 3. That one rims out, chased down into the hands of Ruiz. Ruiz drives to the lane. Actually, that's Sandoval. Gets it underneath to, that was to Gardner. Ends up getting knocked away, out of bounds off of the Warriors. So the Pioneers get to inbound. So we have TJ Wasner and Brody Milliken in for the Warriors. Back into the hands, now into the hands of Milliken. Milliken, the battle back and forth. The hand it gets back into Ferguson's hand, but he tries to take advantage of a breakaway, passes it down court back to Sandoval. Not able to keep it inbounds, turnover back to the Warriors. Warriors inbounded to Wasner. Now across to Simon. Simon sends it to the left wing. Back to Simon, then all the way to the right wing. Wasner to Simon. Simon gets it in underneath, as that was Milliken. Back to Simon. Simon tries to pass it to Milliken, but Ferguson for the Pioneers interferes with it, goes out of bounds. And with that, we take the starting lineup out for the Pioneers. So the Pioneers put in Hoyle, Ruiz, Hoy, and Smallfoot. Let's see if I missed anybody there. And Pinata. The inbound for gets to Walker, to Milliken. Milliken back out to Gigstad. Gigstad hands it off to Wasner. He drives in, draws the foul. 4:26 left of the game, 66-17. It's the first personal foul for Carter Hoyle, second team foul. At the foul line, TJ Wansner. First attempt is good, 67-17. Second attempt, and that one rims out, but in the hands of Gigstad. He puts it up and draws the foul. So he's going to go to the foul line. That's the third team foul for the Pioneers. And first personal foul, that's for Edgar Ruiz. First attempt is up and good. Quincy Gigstad gets another attempt, 3:31. A lot of time being chewed up at the foul line for the Warriors. Second attempt. That is good as well. So Hoyle inbounds, gets it back for the Pioneers, takes it down the court. Hoyle drives to the right and has to chase it down. Sends it back out to Ruiz. Ruiz with a turnaround, looking for help. Gets into the hands of Hoyle. Hoyle puts it up. Is able to get the shot to drop, and draws the foul. So he gets to go to the foul line for the and one. That's the second team foul for the Warriors, and the first personal foul for Quincy Gigstad. Gigstad with the attempt, goes up. That one comes back, and rebound by Wasner. Sends across to the near side. Kimmerling sends it to Milliken with a three. 72-19. Pioneers take a timeout, and they are just doing a quick timeout, switching out players. at this point, it's just a good opportunity to give everybody a chance to play since they came on the bus ride. Got to keep the bus warm. And at this point, I have players out here I don't have any numbers for. So, good luck on that one. But turnover back over to the Warriors. Warriors inbound, gets over to Simon. Simon sends it to the near side as Wanzer gets it back over to Gigstad, or Milliken. Milliken puts it up. Gigstad with a rebound. Milliken now passes it over to Wanzer and comes in. And we have Gigstad with another penalty. Gigstad comes off the court, and we see Pioneers go to the right wing, or left wing, back out to the top of the key. Now on the left wing, looking for help. Passes across, dribbles across to the top of the key, back to the left wing. Left wing with a screen, top of the key, back to the left wing. They're trying to play all the players there. The jumper is too hard, rebound by the Pioneers, ends up being tapped out of bounds, and they're saying it's out of bounds off Brody Milliken. 53 seconds left of the game. 72-19. Pioneers with the inbound. They send it in, get it into the hands of Gonzalez. Gonzalez puts it up, draws the foul. It's going to go to the foul line, and that is first personal foul there. First attempt. Harden bounces off to the left. $20 seconds left, second attempt. That one comes out. That one's rebounded by Milliken. Milliken sends it forward to Simon. Simon takes it down the court. Really could just dribble it away. He throws it. Goes out of bounds. Pioneers with 2 seconds left. Just a heave. And that is short. That is the game. Warriors 72, Pioneers 19. Ladies will be coming to play tomorrow. And then the boys will begin play as a continuation for round number 2 here Thursday night. Again, we want to say thank you to all the sponsors that are a part of the Booster Club. Tonight's game sponsors are JEO, Wahoo State Bank, First Bank of Nebraska, Saunders Medical Center, Wahoops. All of the sponsors part of the Booster Club include Union Bank of Trust, Whit Smith Builders, Simon's Home Store, Retire Path Advisors, Sit Down at Wahoo, Titles, Wahoo Dental Associates, Saunders County Chiropractic, Rivalry, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Ambassador Real Estate, Tammy Bennett, Hardy Acres, Wahoo Concrete, Edward Jones, Josh Kruger, Shutt Electrical and Contracting, Tim and Seth Molly Construction. Well, Cody, what do you think? It was quite a game, and it was a pretty quick game. It actually started at 6, so it's just under an hour for a full game. That's pretty
very
tight.
fast for a full whole varsity for this.
But you'll be back here tomorrow. Alex, if you remember him from the newspaper, sports editor, previous sports editor from the Wahoo Tribune, he's coming, and he will be doing call a game. So I trust everything in you guys' hand. Again, thank you guys for doing what you do. Thank you, the Booster Club, the school, and all of the people out there watching. So stay warm tonight. Tomorrow should be a really nice day, and it's a great day to be a Warrior, isn't it?